school there and learn Spanish. And we were there for a while. While I was there, I had a little private language school where we taught English as a foreign language and also Spanish immersion courses. And then my children came back to the States because they want to go to school, college, and do all the stuff. So now we're back here, and actually my children are here. I go back and forth from Philadelphia mainly, which is our home base in the States, to Spain, northern Spain, an area called Asturias, which is actually very much unlike the image that people have of Spain abroad. It's not very, very sunny and very, very hot. It's sort of high mountains, very, very green, beautiful coastline, and and very Celtic actually, not guitar and flamenco, but northern sort of European. And that's and I have been teaching Spanish at Impact since last year. So this is my second year. It's very exciting. I love it. I think it's my most exciting experience as a teacher, and I love being here in this. This is very neat. I feel like I'm part of it. It's sort of surprising because I didn't participate in the preparation, but I love it. It's much fun, and I'm really enjoying it. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Marian, and thank you for all the work that you do at Impact School.
Thank you.
The music changed dramatically during that time. Rather than only focusing on religion, the lyrics were of nature and love. Our first piece is a French Renaissance song titled Prima la Rose.
long for a fair in those times. Merchants came from all areas to the fair. The song tells the tale of a young man. He tells the listener to ask his former lover to perform a series of impossible tasks, such as making him a shirt without a seam and then washing it in a dry well. If his love completes these tasks, he will take her back. Enjoy.
Are you going to Scarborough? a hop dance. It did not have any words, so Mrs. G adapted them from a Renaissance poem. We call our song The Shepherd. The words reflect the theme of love during the Renaissance.
Thank you for listening to the musical portion of our program. We will now proceed to our guest tables to share a feast of learning.
Join us for the musical presentation. As you can see, my class wanders between two rooms. Half of them will spend time with Mrs. G's class, and then we can recongregate in here and continue our learning. So Alana, Jack, and Sophie have just participated in the musical portion with the recorder and the singing, and we thank them for that. What we will be sharing with you now is the focus of our learning, which has been centered around the Renaissance time, but our learning has really focused more on explorers and primarily Christopher Columbus. And we found a wonderful book called In 1492, which some of you may be very familiar with that poem, In 1400. We use that book as the catalyst for all of our learning. What you will see first is a little reader's theater that the kids put together. They have worked to memorize the poem, so they are doing this all from memory, and they've made props and things to go along with the poem. And then secondly, we're using the same poem, and the kids will explain in a few moments. They took portions of that poem and then elaborated their focus of learning to further expand the poem and their understanding of the poem. They will be sharing with you in a little while. All of their research and learning is really up on the wall, so they will be sharing that with you in a little while when they come join you at the tables. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce In 1492.
In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. He had 3 ships and left from Spain. He sailed through sunshine, wind, and rain. He sailed by night, he sailed by day. He used the stars to find his way. A compass also helped him know how to find the way to go. 90 sailors were on board. Some men worked while others snored. Then the workers went to sleep, and others watched the ocean sea. Day after day they looked for land. They dreamed of trees and rocks and sand. October 12th their dream came true. You never saw a happier crew. Indians, Columbus cried, his heart was filled with joyful pride. But India, the land, was not. It was the Bahamas, and it was hot. Their natives were very nice. They gave the sailors food and spice. Columbus sailed on to find some gold to bring back home as he'd been told. He made the trip again and again, trading for gold to bring back to Spain. The first Americans? No, not quite. But Columbus was brave, and he was bright. Hello, my name is Christopher Zach, and I was studying when Columbus reached land and what foods from the Bahamas. Do you remember that? Hi, my name is McKenna Haynes, and I was studying what they had on board. They had cheese that had worms in it and meat.
Thank you.
My name is Sophia Schmidt, and I've been studying about what Christopher Columbus saw in his journey and what he went through. My name name is Alana Zach, and I was studying the ships that Christopher Columbus took on all 4 of his voyages. I'm Jack Rocky, and I was studying King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. I'm Spencer Thorson, and I'm studying Christopher Columbus. I sailed the ocean blue. He had 3 ships and left from Spain. He sailed through sunshine, wind, and rain. Christopher Columbus was an explorer. An explorer goes to new places, and Christopher Columbus went to find gold and new spice rugs. He took 3 boats to try and find Japan, but he landed on a different island far away from Japan.
Oh, hi there. I'm here to tell you about the ships that Christopher Columbus took on his voyages. Well, I know because I was one of the people who helped build the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. What are the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria, you say? Those are the 3 ships that Columbus took on his first voyage to the New World. The Nina was a caravel, a special type of fishing boat. It was a pretty small ship measuring about 20 meters long. The Nina was Columbus's favorite ship out of all of the 3. It was my favorite too. But he did not sail on her. We'll get to that later. Did you know that the Nina had 10 cannons called bombards that shot granite balls? She also had 80 lead cannons with 110 pounds of gunpowder in each one. The Nina's real name was Santa Clara. Nina means little girl in Spanish. Another interesting fact about the Nina was that she was so small, she could be towed by a single rowboat. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about the Pinta. It was the Pinta's crew that spotted the first land on October 12th. She had almost not been able to make the journey because she had been attacked by ship winds and almost sank. Thankfully, they were close to the Canary Islands, so she could be repaired. The Pinta was also a small caravel, but was a bit bigger than the Nina. So are you thinking that the Nina was the fastest ship? Don't be fooled by the size. The Pinta was really the fastest boat in the group. Now let's talk about the Santa Maria. The Santa Maria was the biggest and slowest out of the 3 ships. It weighed nearly 100 tons and measured a length of about 40 meters. Though Columbus really wanted to sail on the Nina, he captained the Santa Maria and was the leader of the whole group. I think the reason that Columbus sailed on the Santa Maria was because she had more supplies than the other ships. The Santa Maria struck a coral reef at about midnight and sank on December 25th, 1492. Merry Christmas, Columbus. I sure hope you've learned some new facts about Columbus's ships. Thanks for listening. Bye!
King John said no, so Christopher Columbus packed up and headed to Spain. King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella refused Columbus at first, but then Isabella was convinced when she realized that Spain could get even with Portugal if he was successful. Portugal had more sailors, so that meant they had more gold and spices. Spain and Portugal had also agreed to divide the Atlantic Ocean in half so the Portuguese ruled discoveries to the east and the Spanish ruled discoveries to the west of the Azores. Isabella finally agreed to pay for the voyage to find a new route from Spain to the east. Columbus stayed in Spanish court for 7 years before he convinced the king and queen. He never gave up. There was something about Columbus that made Queen Isabella think that he would succeed. Maybe it was because of his determination.
He sailed by night, he sailed by day. He used the stars to find his way. The compass also helped him know how to find the way to go. 90 sailors were on board. Some men worked while others snored. Then the workers went to sleep, and others watched the ocean tea. Columbus had animals like chickens on board. The chickens laid eggs so the sailors could eat eggs. They also had meat that was very salty, and cheese. The meat turned moldy, and the cheese got moldy and had worms in it. They had wine and water in barrels. The wine turned into vinegar and the water turned salty because of the salty air. Columbus also took cats on the ship because there were rats on board. The cats would eat the rat. Columbus came to the Sargasso Sea. It was green because seaweed was growing on top of the water. Columbus's men were scared of the seaweed. They thought it would pull the ship under the sea, but Columbus told the men to go on right through the seaweed. Columbus and his men probably saw manatees in the Sargasso Sea. They thought they were mermaids. The shape of a manatee could have made them think they were seeing a mermaid. Day after day they looked for land. They dreamed of trees and rocks and sand. October 12th their dream came true. He never saw a happier crew. While Columbus was sailing, he thought he saw land from far away. Instead of land, it was a baby gray whale that was about 10 meters long. That would have been about 5 meters shorter than the Nina. The strip of paper on the ceiling is 10 meters long, showing the length of the whale. They also saw a great white shark. It was about 7 meters long. Columbus's men caught the shark and hauled it on board. The shark was so enormous that it fed the men for 7 days.
On October 12th at 2 o'clock in the morning, when the lookout on Pinta spotted land, a crew member shot a cannon so that Christopher Columbus would know that they had found land. After 37 days at sea, they had reached land. The sailors were so happy that they kissed the sand when they got to the beach. Christopher Columbus claimed the island first name and named it San Salvador. San Salvador means Holy Spirit.
Indians, Indians, Columbus cried. His heart was filled with joyful pride. But India, the land, was not. It was the Bahamas, and it was hot.
The Arawak natives were very nice. They gave to sailors food and spice. Columbus sailed on to find some gold to bring back home as he'd been told.
Christopher Columbus found a lot of new things in San Salvador. The Taino people were very nice and gave them foods like sweet potatoes, red and green peppers, and corn. The Taino people also gave them carrots and spices that he took back to Spain. Columbus and his men also discovered hammocks, which the Taino people used for sleeping. They also discovered chilies and probably ate iguana. They smoked it over a fire, and when it was all crispy, they would take it off of the spit and eat it. Columbus brought things like cloth, bells, mirrors, and glass beads to trade with the Tainos.
Made the trip again and again, trading for gold to bring back to Spain.
The first Americans, no, not quite, but Columbus was brave and he was bright.
Thank you so very much for listening as we perform 14 and share what we have learned about explorers and Christopher Columbus.
They've made some big books that they will now share with you. So a lot of you put George down.
The lives of many Renaissance men and women had a great impact on the awakening that occurred during this period in history. One of these people was Jacques Cartier, who was born in Europe and lived during the late medieval to late Renaissance period. Some of the important ways in which this character affected this time period were exploring North America, finding the St. Lawrence River, a good source of food, and he explored thousands of miles of land and sea. These two pictures are a picture of Jacques Cartier, and this is King Francis or Francois. He provided all of the money for his voyages. born in a French seaport town in 1491. A year later, the next year, then Columbus would set sail to find, where he wanted to find India. Cartier grew up by the North Atlantic Sea in St. Malo. His father, a fisherman, taught him how to fish and sail when he was 8 years old. When Cartier went on fishing trips with his father, Cartier always wanted to go beyond the fishing grounds, but the other sailors had no interest in going past the fishing grounds. Finally, when Cartier was 21, his dream came true because he got his own fishing boat. But Cartier had a hard time finding a crew because they worried about sea monsters attacking their boat. Sea monsters. Jacques Cartier is a young man. Explorations of Cartier. Jacques Cartier, a French explorer, journeyed to many areas of North America during his life. Like most explorers those days, Cartier tried to find a quicker route to Asia. Jacques Cartier explored the area which is now Canada. The money for all of Cartier's voyages was provided of King Francis, or Francois, of France. On his first voyage, he sailed kind of around the Gulf of St. Lawrence area to Quebec. Jacques Cartier set out on his second voyage to sail further up the St. Lawrence River to establish a colony because there's a lot of food and land. So he kind of sailed up the St. Lawrence River. On Cartier's third voyage, he found nuggets that he believed to be gold and diamonds. But later he found out it was just useless fool's gold and quartz. Cartier's later and end of life. When his exploring days were over, Cartier set up a settlement where he had explored. After Cartier's voyages, he established a colony in Newfoundland, but no regular citizens wanted to live there. Cartier brought people from prison to take them to that colony. So that shows that Cartier was very determined to have people live there. After all of the excitement of his early life, his later life was quiet, and he lived in St. Malo, where he grew up. Cartier died in 1557 at the age of 66 from an epidemic of some disease. And there's the St. Lawrence River and Gulf of St. Lawrence. How did Cartier affect the world today? Jacques Cartier is best known for his exploration of Canada. In fact, the Indians told him that they called the land Canada. It's Canada just with the K and the T for the T instead of the D. Cartier found the St. Lawrence River, a river more precious than gold mines. Cartier really found a new route to China, but did not know it at all. Jacques Cartier sparked a lot of people's interest to go further up the St. Lawrence River. The life of Jacques Cartier played an important role in demonstrating the important Renaissance characteristic of exploration, especially Canada. Learning about Jacques Cartier was interesting to me because even as a boy, he always wanted to sail further into the unknown. And this is some of the things that he brought Christianity to the natives. And found riches to the king. There's kind of a picture of the St. Lawrence River. The lives of many Renaissance men and women had a great impact on the awakening that occurred during this period in history. One of these people was Ferdinand Magellan, who was born in Europe and lived during the late medieval to late Renaissance period. Some of the important ways in which this character affected this time period were that he sailed around the world. Magellan's time. The world during the time of Magellan was a time for exploration of the world. In 1480, he was born in Portugal. His family had very low power and money. When he was 12, he had
been chosen to be a page. Pages got an education, so that meant Ferdinand got an education. 4 years later, when he was 16, he was selected to be a government clerk. Most people were afraid to sail very far from the settlement because they thought the world was flat. In his later life, Magellan would venture out into the ocean far from land. He was born in Portugal, which is right here. Later life of Magellan. Magellan was a soldier for Portugal for 15 years. After an injury to his knee, he retired. He begged King Manuel of Portugal to send him on a voyage. King Manuel said no. After the Portuguese king said no, Magellan went to the King of Spain to ask for ships to sail to Asia. Another voyage was in 1518 when King Charles agreed to make Ferdinand captain and general on a voyage to Moluccas. In 1519, he left Spain and ended up in the Philippines where he was killed by angry villagers. And he had 225 crewmen and only 19 survived. He started from Spain and he went around here in South America. So most like this right here, really like no one survived there because the waters were so rough. He went around here. And then right in the Philippines, he was killed by angry villagers, like a spear cut his face and he died. And 19 of his crewmen were left, and his ship, the Victoria, reached Portugal, right here. Contributions to the world. Magellan showed it was possible to sail around the world. He sailed from September to April 1519. He was brave and determined to keep going in his voyage. During his voyage, he proved that the world was round, but he underestimated its size. Also during the voyage, Magellan named the Pacific Ocean. After Magellan died, they named the Strait of Magellan at the tip of South America after him. One of the results of his voyage was that the world had more knowledge of faraway places. The life of Ferdinand Magellan played an important role in demonstrating the important Renaissance characteristic of exploration. Learning about Ferdinand Magellan was interesting because he sailed around the world and he was the first one to do it.
The human body. People like Leonardo da Vinci drew realistic people during the Renaissance. When we drew Bretto Man, we drew the basic shapes like balls for joints and ovals for heads, feet and legs where they attach to joints. We learned how to draw people using Bretto Man. This is the first Bretto Man that I drew.
Okay.
He was actually sitting down, but
it's pretty good.
yeah, pretty good. This one, well, Jack, he kind of gave us this idea. It's like, touchdown!
It's a good idea. You can get the arms up. You can see where the joints change.
This one, Jack offered again too. He's throwing a football, but I think he looks like he's waving.
I go with the waving too.
I know.
So did you work together with Jack on this, or were you guys in a group all together?
It's kind of a separate thing where like the Bretto Man is standing there or posing there, and you can like pose him any way, and we draw him from different angles.
I got you. So everyone was doing it together?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see that. Is there any other pictures in there?
No.
Well, let me see that cover. I didn't see the cover yet. Oh, I like your cover.
This is my 5th one.
Each one, you got a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's your favorite one?
I like the one like touchdown.
That is pretty good.
Acrylic painting. The older kids did.
That's your painting?
Did.
That is beautiful.
No, this isn't mine. I drew this.
Yeah.
This is my inspiration.
Okay.
For it. Yeah.
That's the one that you did. That is really good. That looks really close to the one that you had. Where'd you find this picture?
It was online.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So you're just searching around for different watercolors and that's the one you came up with?
Not watercolors.
I'm sorry. What type of paintings are these?
These are, well, I don't know exactly what kind, but we painted these with acrylic paints.
Okay. Are those? Yeah. I don't know the differences.
Well, I do.
You do? Can you explain it to me?
No, I'm kidding.
Well, that is very beautiful, Alana.
Thank
You did a very nice job on that.
And we also made.
Wow. That is nice. What was? Yeah. Why don't you set it down on the table like that? Yeah, perfect. And what is it a scene of?
It's like trees and mountains
Mm-hmm.
and ice.
Nice.
River,
Yeah.
bottom.
Very good. I like all your colors. I like the blue sky and the clouds. I like those colors.
Why do those clouds? Yeah.
Well, I think that's very good. What was your? Is that what your inspiration was?
It's called they were in the dragon tree.
You're not sure what it's called? That's okay. What's your? Did you do Bread Dough Man too, or what was your story? Yeah. Can I see your pictures of Bread Dough Man?
Bread Man 2.
Nice. Which one's your favorite Bread Dough Man? Can you hold that one up for me? Wow. Nice. And what's behind him? What's the purple or the red thing standing up behind him? Yeah. Just the background?
That is a couch.
A couch. Okay. That's pretty neat.
Do you see? And a remote.
He's sitting down on the couch with holding onto a remote.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's watching TV.
And what's next to him? Is that a bowl of chips?
No, popcorn.
Popcorn? Nice. Bread Dough Man's got a pretty good life there, doesn't he?
I was later.
Hey, Connor.
Can I put this back up, honey, so it doesn't get...
Where's Connor? Hey. Where's Connor? You could have got me with my knife. There's Connor. There's Connor. Hey, don't eat that. Don't eat. Hey.
Took away your secret weapon.
Hey, don't eat that, Connor. Don't eat that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to just let you know, Mrs. Shelley's class has put together a skit, and they'll be performing that in just a few moments. You're welcome, if you'd rather stay here and stay with your child, you're welcome to do that. After their skit, we will be commencing for lunch. So if you would like to join them, if you will go through Mrs. Hughes' room, and then you can stand back to the lunchroom area. So your choice, you're welcome to continue or go watch.
That's one way to get it. What a start. What a start.
Whose turn? Was that my turn?
No.
Okay.
I just... My sticker? What pun? To use? Oh, that's the only thing. What are you gonna do?
Were you too delicate about it? I think question.
No, winner. What? Your pun.
I'm gonna go watch the skit.
Hey!
Can you finish up the skit?
The Renaissance Exploration Award goes to Christopher Columbus, the man who discovered Cuba, Mexico, the Bahamas, and many other islands around America. He set sail from Spain in 1492 and sailed the ocean blue. Queen Isabel and King Ferdinand sent him on his journey. It took a whole month to cross the ocean through perilous storms and shipwrecks, but eventually he made it to the Americas. Then it took him 2 whole months to get back to Spain. He went to jail for claiming an island that was already claimed. I present the Renaissance Exploration Award to him for discovering the Americas. Now let's welcome Christopher Columbus.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this Renaissance Exploration Award. I would like to recognize Marco Polo, who journeyed to China on the Silk Road. His courage to explore inspired me to prove that the world was not flat. I might add that the natives were not too thrilled at our arrival. They seemed bothered that the Spaniards brought disease, new leadership, and changed their religion to Christianity. Oh well, long live the Spanish reign over Americas. Thanks.
I admire those explorers. I've been a peasant my entire life and have never ventured out of the village until today. I will be presenting the Renaissance Female Royalty Award to the most remarkable woman and leader, Queen Elizabeth. I now present to Queen Elizabeth the Renaissance Female Royalty Award. There were many good queens before your reign, but you were the first to notice that your subjects have to like and understand a ruler in order to have a peaceful reign. Through passing the poor laws to help the poor, by visiting battlefields, and by taking time to be a patron of the arts. You have gained the confidence of those you rule. You've helped England defeat the Spanish Armada. Queen Elizabeth, you've never married but ruled well thus far on your own. I thank you, Queen Elizabeth I, and I present you with this glorious tribute to your leadership as a female ruler.
Thank you. Though it is much responsibility being a queen, I enjoy it immensely. I would like to thank Robert Dudley for always being a faithful earl, and I would like to thank every one of my subjects for this wonderful award, especially Anne the peasant girl.
For that wonderful acceptance speech. Now, it is my pleasure to present the Modern Science and Achievement Award to Nicholas Copernicus. I'm presenting this award to him for his discovery of what the center of the solar system is, the sun. Copernicus was able to determine the center of the universe without a strong enough telescope, which I invented. I, Galileo Galilei, am honored to present this award for his wonderful discovery that Earth is a planet. Nicholas Copernicus also changed the world with 2 books that were handwritten at first and then printed on the Gutenberg printing press. Only a few copies of his first book, The Letter to Warner, were printed to see how the people reacted. After he saw the positive response, he wrote another book. Then, he got sent to court to renounce his ideas because the church did not like him changing the ideas of the universe, which, obviously, he was doing. Welcome, my role model, Nicholas Copernicus, everyone!
Hello, Galileo. This is a wonderful award and all, but can I make a few changes to it, please?
As long as you're quick, we don't have a lot of airtime left.
I'll be fast.
Introduction. I would also like to thank Norbara, the woman who gave me 2 books that caused me to change Ptolemy's theory that the sun rotated around the earth. During the Middle Ages, people thought that the earth was the center of the universe. But thankfully, I came along and figured out that the earth was a planet, and the sun did not revolve around the earth. Rather, the earth revolves around our sun. This is called the heliocentric model.
And now, welcome to the stage. You've met him before, but here he is again, Christopher Columbus!
Our Renaissance Awards program is coming to an end. Being an explorer by nature, I thought it is fitting to help recognize our last award winner. This person has been an explorer in every avenue of his life. He is a true Renaissance man.
Leonardo is known for being Leo of all trades. He knows all there is to know about our world. Wow! Leonardo is famous for his paintings like the Mona Lisa in The Last Supper. His use of perspective and ability to draw human body will be remembered for many centuries. He dissected 30 bodies in order to be able to accurately draw people. The Pope did not like the idea of autopsies too much and ordered him to cease his work.
When Leonardo apprenticed with Ludovico, a well-known artist, his teacher vowed never to paint again. Even though he is an incredible artist, Leonardo is a scientist and engineer as well. When faced with war in Italy, he switched jobs and designed boats, locks, and weapons. He even drew sketches for a helicopter and a bicycle. Luckily, he has recorded all of his knowledge in his notebooks. If you've seen Leonardo at work, he's always carrying a notebook. His accomplishments, and we've only listed a few, are remarkable. Without further ado, please welcome Leonardo da Vinci! I present you with the overall top prize, the Renaissance Man Award.
I am humbled to receive this award. In my own opinion, I have offended God and mankind because my work didn't reach the quality it should have. Where the spirit does not work with the hand, there is no art. The noble pleasure of joy is understanding. I've worked for understanding the entire world during my life. Thank you for this award. Today we have been graced with the most amazing minds that have reawakened our world and led us into the modern world. We leave you with a quote from Leonardo. I love those who can smile in trouble, who can gather strength from distress, and grow brave by reflection. 'Tis the business of little minds to shrink, but they whose heart is firm and whose conscience approves their conduct will pursue their principles unto death.
Thank you for attending the Renaissance Awards feast. Now, please welcome Mrs. Steve for a few announcements about the feast.
We have a part of strawberries, almond cake.
So without further ado, I think what we'll do, boys and girls, is to be sure that your Renaissance folders, after I'm done talking, can get up on the green chair. Just wait till I'm finished though. And then we'll begin our meal. We hope that you'll play cribbage, which is a Renaissance game, and checkers as well. We also have backgammon. If you finish eating, and students, we're going to ask you to stay at your tables during the meal. And I just wanted to add that the skit that you heard was written by students. They actually wrote that and with a little help on the transitions from a teacher. So let's begin eating. If we could have table 1 from Mrs. Zech's room into this room, go to get their meal, that'd be great.